Welcome back to Fickle Sports and another round of score predictions. As you can see, I'm still without my right hand man Gary. Unfortunately, he has tested positive for supporting a shit football team. Let's get into how everyone did in the previous game week and what scores people achieved. So, starting from the bottom and working our way up. At the bottom of our list is Fat Frank. I would say maybe just stick with managing Chelsea, but that isn't going too well either. He got 4 points. Sam Newbold, he got 5. Kato got 5. Cole, our resident Aston Villa fan, he got 5. The Mysterious S, he got 6. Kevin, 63, he got 6. I also scored 6 points. Reece Lloyd got 6, but the winner is a newcomer, is Noza Gregory, got a total of 7 points. So well done, Noza. Before we get into the score predictions and the games of the upcoming game week, I just want to say a quick thank you, as always, to every single one of you that subscribe to us, or our new subscribers, everyone who comments and likes on every single one of our videos. We appreciate every single one of them, and we appreciate if you keep them coming. Thank you. First game of the game week is Sheffield United versus Newcastle. It's taking place at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. Now, Sheffield United in the last game, they lost 2-0 to Crystal Palace. As with all of these games, I am going to exclude the FA Cup fixture, but the last Premier League game, they lost 2-0 to Palace, and that first goal they conceded, you know, they just seem to not be getting the rub of the green in any game. You know, it was unfortunate. It was a deflection. Not a lot they could have done. And the second goal, unfortunately, again, there wasn't a lot they could have done, but this time it wasn't down to fortune. It was just a brilliant goal by Eze. I think at this point, maybe Chris Wilder's going to be looking in the mirror and just wondering what he's done to become so cursed. And it must be quite frustrating for Sheffield United fans, because I feel you can see the Sheffield United of last season in the games that they're playing. You can see it, but they just can't reach that level of efficiency they need to get the win. For Newcastle United, I think they set up tactically similar how to set up against Liverpool, hoping that they could get a similar result. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. In the first half, they did manage to frustrate Leicester, but in the second half, the game opened up and Leicester were able to create more and more chances. The first goal, maybe they should have defended a little bit better. I feel like Maddison had a lot of space considering where he was on the pitch. But the second goal, I don't think there was anything they could have done about that one, to be honest with you. It was a goal of real quality. And then it was Andy Carroll who came on, I think they said after 10 years, and he got the consolation for Newcastle. But in the end, I think they left it a little too much too late. My prediction for this one, I'm going to go for it. I'm going for 2-1 Sheffield United. Next up is Burnley versus Manchester United. It is also taking place at Tuesday at 8:15. Now, the last Premier League game that Burnley played, if you remember, was actually postponed. And to be honest with you, I don't think that postponement couldn't have come at a worse time for Sean Dyche and his men. They finally started to pick up a bit of form, and they had actually only lost 1 in their last 6. And that one loss was against Leeds. And if you take your minds back, it was quite an unfortunate game to lose. They really didn't deserve to lose that one. So I think Dyche won't be too happy with the postponement, but there's not a lot he can do about that situation. But it's a tough one coming up against Manchester United. For Manchester United, their last game against Aston Villa, it turns out that Aston Villa turns out to be one of the harshest tests at home for teams this season. But Manchester United, they passed that test. Not with flying colours, but they did pass the test. The first goal was a lovely bit of play. And the second goal, there was a lot of controversy about this penalty. And I think what doesn't help Pogba is the fact that a few minutes beforehand, he did say to Shaw, you should have gone down. But I do think it was a pen. I do think that in the end he did get touched, and he ended up, that was the reason he went down. You can call it soft, but I do still think it was a penalty, and it was a fantastic penalty by Fernandes to convert it. It wasn't a perfect result for Manchester United though. Villa did manage to create quite a few chances, especially towards the end, but in the end the gap was equal to most of them. My prediction for this one is 1-0 Manchester United. Next up is Wolves versus Everton. It is taking place at 8:15 on Tuesday. Now, Wolves, what a ridiculous game. Their last Premier League game was in that 3-3 draw with Brighton. Is it fair to say maybe that's a few mistakes in a row Patricio has made now? I don't know if I'm being harsh there. Maybe you guys let me know what you think. Not that it mattered though, because you had that man at the moment again in the right place at the right time to get the goal. And then obviously we had the Burn. I'm not sure how much Wolves paid him, but Burn, he conceded a penalty and gave Wolves an own goal. So I'm sure that was money well spent. That really should have been that, but it was a poor challenge by Moutinho, and I think it was poor defending for the dunk goal as well. And they even had a chance at the end for Wolves to snatch it, but unfortunately they missed those chances. So in the end, maybe a draw was just about a fair result. For Everton will be frustrated with this one. They will be frustrated with this one. West Ham did really well to stop them creating chances, and I think a lot of the blame though has to go to Everton. I feel like they should have been more adventurous, especially when you consider they weren't playing Fabianski. It was Randolph in goal and they had Craig Dawson in defence. I really feel like that was a reason to put a few more players in attack and really try and put a bit more pressure on West Ham, but they didn't. And in the end, don't get me wrong, it was a slightly fortunate goal by Solskjaer, but I think in the end, West Ham probably deserved the win. You know, they created the better chances, so they'll be hoping for a better performance in the upcoming game against Wolves. My prediction for this one, I'm going with 2-2. So we roll over into Wednesday, and first game up is Manchester City versus Brighton. It is taking place at 6 PM. Now, Manchester City, what a brilliant first half that was by them. They really did play so well, and it's the exact reason why I hold Manchester City in such high regard and have such high expectations for them, because I sometimes do feel like I'm being a little bit harsh. De Bruyne missed another one-on-one, and again, he's probably one of the most players that you expect to not miss those sorts of chances, but he soon made up for it. After the first goal, he got himself an assist for the Foden goal, and then after Sterling did all the work, and then in the end, I think he really got caught between two minds at Sterling and hit the post, and De Bruyne then bagged his own goal. So I think he more than made up for that. And I think Pep being the perfectionist he is, I think he'll be a little bit hurt that they gave away the clean sheet late on. But let's be honest, it was an absolute fantastic game of football for Manchester City all the way up until Chelsea scored. But in the last minute, it was nothing more than a consolation. For Brighton, I really do have mixed feelings with this one, because it'd be really easy for me to come in and say what I usually say, which is they played really well, but the result didn't match the performance. But I think it shows tremendous heart for them to be 3-1 down and to come back from that. And add on top of that, you know, one of their players, Burn, he did have an absolute shocker at the office that game. And I think against Manchester City, Brighton are going to need more of that spirit that they mustered against Wolves for them to stand in with a chance, because it is going to be a really tough game for them. My prediction for this one, sorry Brighton fans, but I'm going 3-1 Manchester City. Next up, it is Aston Villa versus Tottenham. Oh no, it's being postponed again. Aston Villa with a COVID outbreak, so that's absolutely fair enough. But the game has been replaced, which is something that was very last minute and I haven't seen before. And it has been replaced with Tottenham versus Fulham, and it is taking place at 8:15 on Wednesday. Now, Tottenham, in their last game against Leeds, they got that 3-0 win, and it was a good win for them. The first goal was obviously the penalty where it was right on the line, but for some reason the rule is that if it's on the line, it is now a penalty. And we said this in the comments beforehand, and Leeds really needs to have a plan to nullify the likes of Kane and Son. And they just did not do that. And that was evident in the second goal, where you had Kane make that run, and then he played a brilliant ball through to Son, who finished brilliantly. But Leeds really needs to do more to stop them, because let's be honest, you know, when Kane and Son are on form, they are absolutely impossible to stop. But excellent win for Tottenham, and I think they might be looking forward to the Fulham game. Fulham, well, their last few games have been postponed, so it's quite difficult to say where they are. Obviously, I did say we want to try and avoid looking at FA Cup games, but if the FA Cup game's the only thing we have to go on with Fulham, then that's what we have to take. And they left it late against QPR, but in the end they did get that 2-0 win. I will say one thing with Fulham, that in the last few games beforehand, I think they got 4 draws in a row, but all 4 of those games, their performances really did step up. So they'll be hoping they can maintain those sorts of performances, and then in the end, the results will come. But as I said, tough game against Tottenham. My prediction for this one, I'm going with 2-0 Tottenham. Last game of the game week, it is Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. It is taking place on Thursday at 8 o'clock. For Arsenal, it seems as soon as Gary has run away and has left me to do this on my own, Arsenal have picked up form. I don't understand. I thought this would be the time that he would want to be talking about Arsenal. But it was another very, very good victory for them. It was that 4-0 win against West Brom and Sam Allardyce, who, if you remember all the way back in those days, Sam Allardyce used to be a thorn in the side of Arsene Wenger in his Bolton days. But to be fair, they have long since gone. As a matter of fact, I think the last time Allardyce played Arsenal, I think it would have been Wenger at the helm. When Allardyce, I think, probably at Palace then. But we're not here to talk about Allardyce. We're here to talk about how well Arsenal played, and they played really, really well. There are 4 goals of absolute quality. Especially Tierney, he is that kind of player who leads the team, and he did literally take the grain by the scruff of the neck with that goal and put Arsenal in a fantastic position to get more goals. And I think you can just see with Arsenal how quickly football can turn upside down. You know, they looked like a team that were never going to score to a team that now just scoring for fun, and seems to trust Arteta's place, especially in the younger players in that Arsenal team, has really, really paid off for them, and they're now playing some really good football and getting some really good results. For Crystal Palace, I mean, that was a really good win for them. I mean, don't get me wrong, the first goal was a little fortunate. You know, obviously took that deflection, but I think it was a really good performance by Crystal Palace. And that second goal, what a brilliant goal by Eze. It was absolutely fantastic, and he has been brilliant this season. And as I say, it was an overall performance. I think they defended really, really well in that game. They really didn't give Sheffield United that many chances. The only potential downside was that Zaha incident. Now, don't get me wrong, there was nothing in it, but as soon as you raise your hands like that, you're asking the referee to make a decision which you might not agree with the outcome. So I'd just say, and I know we've seen it before, but with Zaha, you know, just try to keep it in check. And I think Ronaldo used to say, take the fouls as a compliment. If they can't stop you by winning the ball, then they're going to try and stop you another way. So, other than that minor, and it was a very small outburst, I'd say it was an excellent win for Crystal Palace. But unfortunately, I don't think that helps them against Arsenal. And my prediction for this one is 1-0 Arsenal. That is it for score predictions. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We really, really do appreciate it. And hopefully, we see you next week. Good luck.